pick up right where we left off with Theodora Vampire continuing her nightly struggles
to ever
successfully feed. All right. So I believe we're going to start by resting. Uh-oh.
Yes.
You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You are cordially invited to rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night.
Ooh.
Well, well.
The hunger calls to you. The city skyscrapers, the seemingly never-ending sprawl of the boroughs. It's all a prison. You need to get out. You need to take control of your life this instant. The memory of your sire's frosty blue eyes mocks you, tempts you to show your dominance, to prove that you have the guts to take what you want. Feeding. That's just the thing. Coaxing. No. Ordering a mortal to bend to your will, drinking deep from their lifeblood. Faces pass you by. While some look more ravishing than others, any would do right now. You compose yourself, your rational mind fearing a blatant breach of the Masquerade's temporary hold over the beast and its compulsions. Calming yourself is a small victory in and of itself. This semblance of command will have to do for now, but it won't last. You need to quench this hunger before it overtakes you and makes you lose control. So, we have some options. So I believe each scene going forward is going to occupy half of your night, and you get 2 scenes per night. I recommend, just for the sake of knowing who all of the really important characters are, that we at least visit each coterie member once, but there will be options not to do so. Like this guy. Faith and Myth, Part 1. You received an invitation to meet a mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Alternatively, we can go visit Agathon. Juno, the notes. You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. Likewise, we have Hope. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She's supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. Gumshoe in the Dark, a recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir al-Asmai has a secret associate in investigating the murders, a Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you can help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. And Jezebel's Childer. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who has made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Ferals aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you.
What are you feeling, Aram?
Well, I don't know exactly how time relates to these events, but I'm imagining that our invitation to the cathedral is good for this night only, whereas these other people will still be here.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we should go to the cathedral first.
Okay.
Excellent.
You haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding.
I'm honestly more surprised that Theodora has ever been to a church in her life.
You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you still don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You've been inside once before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect...
Well, someone fucking poured red light all over it.
Yeah. The prospect of an
you know.
anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one, but the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anybody noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement.
Is this I'm getting a dialogue choice for my internal monologue,
I believe so, yes.
I don't fucking know, man. I feel like the first one sounds very atheism, so let's go with the slightly more open-minded third option.
All right. It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor, and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off of him. He's tall, dignified, white hair, balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously you expected something like this as a vampire walking into a cathedral, only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest.
You look down. He's holding a cigarette lighter under your face.
Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you.
Well, it feels like it's a wasted trip if we just run, so we're gonna confront the priest.
The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions. Away. Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like you would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God.
I think we'll we'll play it cool. We'll go with the first one. How are you doing this?
I'm afraid I don't understand. It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. Just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smells of the city, the same as every night. How did it feel? You look at the man speaking to you. He's well-dressed, if a little archaic. Dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if knowing something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger.
I would go with the more just matter-of-fact second option, but he looks very silly, so I'm going to ask who the fuck he is. Who the fuck are you?
Please, calm down. I'm not your enemy.
I'm only the enemy of fashion.
Let me... Oh, just you wait. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Benoit offers his hand to you.
I guess I'll shake his hand.
Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit points to a park bench nearby, in darkness because of a broken streetlight. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down, and you follow suit. For a moment, you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I have experienced it myself many times. For a moment, you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup.
Number 1. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here?
We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later, but right now the important thing is that it's so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious, so we'll say the first one. At first I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest.
I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He is safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. My heart no longer...
killed me!
My heart no longer beats, yet I move, I talk. Is that how God intended us to be?
Yeah, let's go with the first one. I'm skeptical. Whoa, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it.
Maybe there is. I don't know either. But I know that Father Anthony's faith is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too. But in Father Anthony's presence, I know faith is real. I know because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith in our kind.
You ever go see a Catholic priest because it hurts so good?
You laugh, but that is just his character.
Yeah. Number 2. How do you know any of these stories are true?
I don't. How could I know? This is what faith is. You have to believe something. Good and evil, right and wrong, love and hate. I believe we are damned. I also believe that there is always hope. Grace. Father Anthony's faith shows me the way. It's so easy for us to lose ourselves in a morass of occult speculation. Some of our kind revere Cain, others Lilith. Many in the Camarilla place their faith in the invisible guidance of the Methuselahs who are supposed to watch over us.
Are those like early generation vampires?
Very, very old vampires. Like once you've had your 1000th birthday. Yet I wonder how much that really matters when compared to the character of a good man.
Number 1. Did you have anything else, or did I come here just to talk about religion?
I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children. Anyone can have that conviction inside them.
Like,
Number
hey,
2.
dude, you're creeping
Yeah.
me out. We don't know each other like this.
This is too much. You expect me to go along with all this insanity?
Benoit nods patiently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through.
Thought what through?
Yeah, that's the thing that could happen and won't.
Yeah. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easier to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean?
It means I wasted a fucking time slot, and
You
I
sure
didn't get
did
to
waste a
drink
fucking
someone's
time
blood.
slot. Alright, who now?
Oh, God. And you said you think all of these have an opportunity to feed? Question mark?
I believe, like, usually not on the first meeting with them, but on the second meeting, the second or third, you might get one.
Oh, okay, so that does me a fat fucking lot of good.
I mean, you've met Agathon once, so you could hang out with him again, and there might be a chance to feed.
Man.
Or you could try meeting one of the others.
I'm concerned because if I meet Agathon again tonight, I don't know if I'm gonna like have enough time to meet everyone.
You will.
And that's
You'll have at least enough time to meet everyone. You're at this point, because you met Benoit, you're not going to have the opportunity to complete everyone's quest.
Fucking Benoit. Fucking asshole. Alright. Send me
The only reason I was like, yeah, you should probably meet Benoit is because he shows up in the second game.
Alright. Oh, sorry, I accidentally yanked out my earbuds. I think we'll go, and so that we don't get, like, okay, so the person I'm most interested in seeing is the Malkavian, but, I feel like, I'm sorry?
I will say, no opportunity to feed, but is the most interesting starting scenario.
Well, I'm definitely gonna see her. I think I'm gonna save her for the next set because our other options are a Nosferatu and a Gangrel, who are among the more like rowdy, monstery types, and so I'd rather like alternate those rather than do them back to back.
Makes sense.
So I think we're gonna go meet the Nosferatu.
Okay. D'Angelo's pretty good. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recently sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant splayed out on the riverbank. Forgotten. Abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you almost give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently.
I wonder if vampires need tetanus shots.
No. However, anyone they feed from at that point forward will.
Yeah, they could spread disease.
Yep. Once inside, you find yourself in a large, empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it, a faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and papers scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly, it hits you. That nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo.
So I don't know. I'm pretty sure because we got that little, like, dream that we're already primed to fucking annihilate.
Yep.
So I don't think there's any downside to using presence now, but I don't know for sure, so we'll try to talk to him like a normal person.
Okay. You decide to play along. Raising your arms slowly, you weigh your next words carefully. You're pretty sure a bullet to the back wouldn't kill you, but it also doesn't sound too pleasant either.
That fucking first one, Jesus. Let's go with 3. How about you lower the gun so we can talk like civilized kindred?
Oh, I'm plenty civilized. See? You can feel the barrel digging deeper into your back. Double action. Carbon steel framed. The finest handgun your hard-earned money can buy. Doesn't get much more civilized than that.
What about shooting? Yeah, the first one. If you're gonna shoot me, you might as well give me the courtesy of looking me in the eye.
For a few tense seconds, the room goes quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. You know what? Fair enough. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu? The way Sophie described them, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity. But this guy? The clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to his appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away.
That's a good turn of phrase.
He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. So, what brings you to my humble office?
Number 2. You the one they call D'Angelo?
That's my name, kid. Don't wear it out.
Okay, that is not the shirt I expected him to be wearing.
The Hawaiian overshirt?
My friends call me Jin, so you'd best stick to D'Angelo for the time being.
Aha, touché.
Now, I suggest you tell me what this is about. Otherwise, I kindly ask you to get the fuck out of my office.
Number 1. Charming. I can see why Kadir keeps you around.
His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street. So let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however.
There's no need to be snide. We'll just go with the first one. The Red Hook murders. I know. I want to help you catch the killer.
His moldy lips twist into a smile. Do you now? D'Angelo lowers his shades. For a few seconds, he sits motionless with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly, he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then he twirls it into a shoulder holster in a fashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced. A lot. In front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seem to care. What was their endgame? What was their angle? Everyone's got one, even if they pretend like they don't, especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me.
Alright, I like this guy.
Yeah, no, he's great. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered.
With that, he jumped out the window.
Are you narrating, D'Angelo?
We'll be a bro. Go with number 2.
As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lighter before his eyes.
I stole your bit, old man. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. I'm just like fucking playing into his fucking fantasy.
For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back.
I could tell she was trouble when she came into my office. She had legs in all the right places.
I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's something about you. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. I could use an assistant, someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to shoot down. Who knows? If you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement.
Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good.
Sure it does, kid. I'm the one who said it.
I love him so much.
Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I'm barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for?
I was hoping one of the options would be you're the detective. You figure it out. We'll just be straightforward and say Sophie. Sophie Langley.
For the first time since you got here, the Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise. His eyes wander for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. So you're the one, huh? A fledgling the Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you. Up close, his smile is even more unnerving.
So do Nosferatu have, like, shadow teleportation powers or something?
It's not necessarily teleportation, it's more like invisibility. All right, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking. It's not even really invisibility, it's more like mind control so that you don't look at them. Or so that you don't realize that you see them.
Like perception aversion.
Correct.
Yeah.
With
Where
a
they'll just make your mind forget that they're in the room.
Yeah.
That's useful when your power is being ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of mumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There's definitely a method to his madness.
I like the idea that his narrating out loud is actually a cunning facet of his disguise as, like, an insane hobo.
God, yes. I love D'Angelo so much.
D'Angelo's great. I'm just gonna say that much. Like, if we want to finish anyone's storyline, D'Angelo's definitely one of them.
Okay.
Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him, drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I did not get to see the body, so I didn't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me? You take a moment.
Oh man, I love Disco Elysium.
Yeah. You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Roll visual calculus.
Yeah.
Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera, and you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The Blood Speaks," in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo. The Nosferatu gives you an expecting look.
I was just thinking, if you go to his office, he's like, "All right, let's go to the crime scene. Hang on, I just gotta get my tie off this lamp."
Yeah. Oh, dies. Be useful in the way he said you should be useful, and don't make him do everything, and he will probably appreciate you. He is another one that I failed the first time I tried to play this.
Oh.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say number 2 because that feels like the most obvious question upon looking at the scene, but based on that advice from you, I guess I'll say number 1 and just say stupid shit.
You point at the spray-painted sign.
That looks like a clue.
Sure, kid. Might as well start with the elephant in the room. What do you think it means? You give the sign a good hard look. It's no Rembrandt. The writing is jagged, clearly done in a hurry.
It's meant to throw us off.
Is that what you want to do?
Well, now I'm reconsidering because you asked me.
No. The way you said it made me...
You were clarifying whether I was actually selecting it or just, like, chuckling about it. No, yeah, we'll do it that one. Nothing. It's meant to throw us off.
Nah. I can see why you'd think that, but look at how crooked the letters are. Barely legible. Can't fake something like that. Someone was very nervous, very scared. Definitely meant something to them. And then there's the blood, or lack thereof. And given that the murder was committed right here and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that...
I mean, number 1.
Yeah.
The killer was kindred.
Bingo! Only a kindred could drain a human this quickly, this quietly. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to?
Oh, okay.
What did the...
Well,
I will say that because they haven't explained that to you yet, a thin blood is a vampire who is of too high a generation, so high in fact that they don't actually develop the characteristics of their parent clan, and sometimes they can go out during the daytime and not jut out their fangs, and they don't get disciplines as easy and stuff like that.
Okay. So they're like the half elves of vampire.
Yes, they are half.
Okay.
They are half vampires.
Okay. Well. It doesn't seem.
And thin bloods are always shit on by everybody. I will say that much.
Yeah. Well, I see 1 point in favor of Tremere, which is that they do blood manipulation, so it seems maybe more plausible that they could 100% drain a body of blood or like get rid of it afterward.
Mm-hmm.
I see maybe a point in favor of Malkavian being, it doesn't seem overwhelmingly likely that the victim wrote that message because like they probably just fucking died.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems on brand for a Malkavian to leave some weird ass cryptic message.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Malkavian.
Okay.
Maybe it's a Malkavian serial. Oh, this doesn't sound intelligent, so I'm probably wrong. They're pretty nuts, right? Yuck.
Nah, kid. Moonies can be a bit playful. But there's a method to their madness. It leaves a certain aftertaste. This right here just reeks of desperation. I might be jumping to conclusions, but my money's on the Thin Bloods.
He pauses, spits out the mingled remains of a cigar.
Shit. Looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
that guy.
The Thin Blood Primogen? I'll show him that I'm cool and I know who Larson is. Larson? The Thin Blood Primogen?
No, Larson the bicycle repairman. Of course the Thin Blood fucking Primogen. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the Masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward position. And I mean a shitting upside down awkward. That's the kind of weakness that the other Primogen would love to exploit, and his position on the council is bad as it is.
He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself, but it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, he lights up a fresh cigar, takes a puff, and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile.
Alright, kid. Let's get this over with.
Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops, almost like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come.
This is the place.
With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire.
Okay, kid. We gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions, you rang, my lord, gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know.
Number one, for intrigue.
Yeah.
Sounds like you two have some history.
Sounds about right. That's a story for another time. Right now, let's stick to why we're here. Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? Curious to see how you handle it.
Take a step back and look around the area. The lit-up window seems like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention. His, and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you're suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view.
Bum, bum. Bum, bum.
Oh, boy.
Ugh. This is when it sucks to be a Ventrue. If you were anybody else, you'd be able to go to Smacktown.
And you might be able to anyway.
Yeah. Well, this is a gentrified neighborhood.
Yeah. We just don't know.
Oh, man.
You want me to save Scum? I'm willing to save Scum to save you from being hungry, just permanently hungry.
I'm gonna say yeah, because, like, just, like, this game feels a little mean about this, because at no point have I ever actually had enough information to make an educated decision. Like, in that first set of opportunities, it was like, well, here's a person you just can't do, guaranteed. And now, okay, here's another opportunity. Pick from, like, 3 options that give you no information about what kind of person you will find. Yeah. I was like, tennis. You know, young people play tennis. I was like, no, sorry, I'm 68.
I'm old.
Kid. Shushing him with a gesture, you plunge into the shadows and crouch behind a well-trimmed hedge. True to his word, D'Angelo follows your lead, but he doesn't seem too happy about it.
You best not be thinking what I think you're thinking.
You tense up, waiting for him to get closer. When he does, you spring from the darkness, grabbing both of his arms, and you sink your teeth into his neck. It's all so quick, yet so sublime. Maybe you tear away from him. However, D'Angelo is quick to curtail your murderous appetite. The detective approaches the animal, looking it straight in the eyes. He mumbles something odd under his breath, an oddly melodic whisper. Mesmerized by the chant, the dog grows quiet and lays on his back, allowing D'Angelo to pet its belly. Suddenly, you notice lights turning on in some of the houses. D'Angelo gives you an angry look and points to the unconscious man in your arms. Get him out of sight, now! Heeding his advice, you hoist the man over your shoulders and carry him to the nearest bush, where you continue feeding upon him. Just as you're getting up, a very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck approaches D'Angelo. He doesn't seem happy to see him. Are you fucking insane? I mean, I know you are, but this is nuts, even by your standards, D'Angelo. You glance over at D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this.
Don't. Oh, man.
Why would you say the second one?
We can find out.
Oh boy.
Funny.
I mean,
unfortunately, I think at this point we have lost D'Angelo completely. But if you want, we can go back and you just be hungry for a little longer.
Let's. Fuck. I mean, but there's not gonna be another opportunity, right? It's like it's
not in this scene, no.
Okay, so is it this or go
honestly,
apeshit?
I believe going apeshit is probably the safest option. In terms of, I think it's the safest option in terms of making sure that you get to see everything that you want to see.
Okay, because, like, it wasn't totally clear to me if going apeshit was, like, a game over or not. I would have believed you if you told me it was.
I think it is, but it's never happened to me, so I don't know.
Fuck, man. Alright,
If it is, I've never gotten it, and I've gotten every other ending for this game. And
has anyone in the chat ever played this game through?
I don't know if... maybe, but...
Because they might know.
I don't think it does mean game over. Because I'm pretty sure I've frenzied before, but just to see what would happen. And it might eat up one of your scenes, I think, is probably the worst punishment it might levy down on you.
Okay, so here's what I propose. Let's play through the rest of this real quick just to confirm whether this is actually I've actually fucked on D'Angelo, and if so, we can consider reloading. Yeah. So, you know, we'll do our best to salvage it. We'll go with number 1. Hey Larson, sorry about the fuss, but we needed to get your attention. This was my best idea.
By feeding right next to my house? What the hell is wrong with you? Get the hell out of here!
Oh no! Not before you tell us about the murders.
I love that. I'm in a very good bargaining position. The second one, I guess. Ow! It's not a big deal. I didn't bleed him dry. Unlike your friend at Red Hook.
Nice save.
Hey, D'Angelo, play the Ace Attorney music on your beatbox.
Look, the finger's even there.
Yeah. Okay.
Is that supposed to mean anything to me? D'Angelo, what's going on here?
It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible.
Bullshit. The Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade?
Desperation. Killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something. Something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together.
Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching. Trying to find a scapegoat. Get in your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo. You think I don't know who you're working for?
Number 1. I'll be the good cop.
Yeah.
Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose?
Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now.
This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. What if it turns out that one of yours did it and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that?
He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look, I'll ask around, consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is.
Deal.
Good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family.
So he has like a normal, real family?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Thin Bloods can kind of get away with that. Others try to, but it usually doesn't work out too well in the long run. You walk a couple blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns to you.
Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I could sure use a drink. Something warm in a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tally your score. Let's
see now. Fuck you.
You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety.
Oh, see, I actually perfectly...
Hey, you did it! Perfect score!
You managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates Private Dick.
I cannot believe
that is an astoundingly generous reading of our actions.
Oh my god, I cannot believe you got away with this.
All in all, get fucked. Like, really? Really? You thought you won. You thought you had me for a second. Nope.
Yeah, I was just yanking your chain. I'm about to murder you.
You did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Be ready to meet me at the office.
Hooray!
He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you.
Just kidding.
Just kidding. What the fuck? Like, really, what the fuck?
Did you really think I'd just let you get away with that shit, kid?
And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one.
I did it! I got the best of all worlds.
Yeah, you fed and you made it out of that bad situation. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey.
Oh.
Oh shit, Gregory has a face?
Yeah, Gregory has a face. Hey.
Have we ever seen this before?
No, this is the first time we've seen Gregory's face.
Okay.
I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you.
He's much younger than I imagined for whatever reason.
I was probably voicing him old because that's what I remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I guess.
The blood border did recede a little bit. You're no longer on the cusp of frenzy.
I'm gonna say that I wish they had a meter or something.
Yeah.
I have at no point have I discerned a change in the blood border one way or the other.
Yeah,
I've never seen it expand. I've never seen it contract.
Mm-hmm.
Any idea what she needs me for?
I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles politely. The car's waiting. Shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave. Disappear. Let Sophie find someone else to employ. But then you remember the Anarch thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate not even a week ago, and that it still might happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced.
Oh, before we talk to Sophie, I wanted to state something because I asked you for predictions when we were playing Trails in the Sky, so I want to give you my prediction for this game.
Yeah, go ahead.
Given that you've mentioned how short this game is, so I don't know if the game is even going to answer this question definitively, but in regards to the central mystery of like who was the person who turned us and why, I was thinking about it. I've reasoned through it, and My money is... So, like, we know someone set it up, and based on how the guy was talking, it didn't sound like they had a really specific, like, reason for it to be us specifically, just that it was going to be someone and we were, like, picked, kind of on the spur of the moment. So it doesn't seem likely to have anything to do with our former life. And it seems entirely likely that whoever set that up was aware that, you know, we'd be found by Kadir and brought back to the court, and so like I've been thinking about, like, so what would someone actually gain by doing this? And so it seems like it probably is a member of that court who is behind it, because those are really the only people who would be affected by this happening. And out of the named characters we met, it seems like I'm going to say, I think most likely it is either Sophie herself or Fancy Man. Sophie, because, like, if nothing else had if everything had gone the most likely way, we just would have been executed. And so, like, really nothing would have been accomplished other than a random person, us, dying. So, like, it seems possible to me that Sophie arranged it because she wanted, like, a vassal and for whatever reason wasn't allowed to just make one herself. Like, she has theoretically possibly gained something out of this. My other suspect is Fancy Man, simply because he was in the introduction, and he seems sus. I saw him vent, and yeah. So I just wanted to put that out there. Okay. I don't know if we're actually gonna find really out,
goodness, dude.
but that's what I'm thinking.
That's certainly more astute than I was when I was playing through this the first time.
Yeah.
Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile.
Oh, you're still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Sophie. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory.
Her driver leaves and turns her attention to you.
I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances. But I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Theodora. Thank you for coming.
The change in the mood of the room is so sudden and startling, it makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being.
I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery.
She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal.
The man you'll be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he'll give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible.
You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you.
Oh, and don't worry about the contents. They're encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands. But it won't, correct?
She gives you a smile that just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting.
Oh, and Theodora. Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred.
Racist.
He's old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow.
Hot shit, I can get a fucking hot dog while I'm there.
I can get a hot dog and not eat it.
I mean, you can eat it.
Are vampires actually unable to eat, or there's just no reason
They will
for them
vomit.
to?
They will vomit food, and food just generally tastes like ash in their mouth. Unless you're thin-blooded.
Yeah. If you're
Man,
thin-blooded or you have a trait
You can buy a
that
merit for it that'll let you eat and enjoy food, but you'll have to
still
puke it
have
up
to bone
later.
Hmm.
Because it'll just sit in your dead, atrophied stomach.
binging and purging.
Yeah.
essentially. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it.
That smile again, but much shorter.
That smile again, but much shorter. Sophie had activated her shrink ray. There's like 0% chance she will answer either of the latter two questions, so I'll just ask number one. Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser?
Well, he's been here for a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Anarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette except his own. Good night and good luck.
She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island.
George Washington, what secrets do you hold?
It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it'd be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach.
Ask around. I don't think that's gonna work. I'll search for signs of Kaiser.
There are plenty of nooks and crannies to investigate around here, but if Kaiser frequents this area, there has to be some kind of clue to grab onto, right? You spend a good hour snooping around, eyes peeled for the black limo Sophie mentioned, or any sign that a Nosferatu or any vampire has their haven around these parts. Zilch. Annoyed, you turn back toward the lights of the amusement park, only to find a man standing in your way. Wearing an oversized jacket, he had the air of a junkie or a dealer about him. Who knows what he's got in those pockets? These pockets! You lost.
Maybe. Yeah. Desperately lost. What is it to you?
You know, I'll go out on a limb and we'll go with the first one.
Yeah, they made art of this guy for a reason.
Ever heard the name Kaiser? I'm looking for him.
Nah, don't know who that is. He's a terrible liar, clearly full of shit.
Ooh.
What does the red mean?
It means that if you're hungry enough, you can choose this one, and it's usually much more violent and rough. Thin bloods do not actually grow old. They're still vampires.
I'd rather not immediately use more magic powers and get myself straight back into
Hungry Town.
Yeah, Hungry Town, my favorite steakhouse.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Let's try number 2. Listen, man, I need you to contact your boss, and I need you to do it now. Quit wasting my time, or things will get unpleasant real soon.
He doesn't take that well. He reaches into his pocket, produces a gun. You rush him. Bang! The bullet hits you, but you barely notice. What would be a debilitating wound for a mortal is just a scratch for you. Shame about your clothes, though. It takes a bit of brawling. The man's stronger than you'd expect, but using your powers, you're able to overcome him with a few hits to the jaw. The man passes out from the pain. Searching him, you find a fancy phone that doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. The phone's locked, but a recent smudge on the screen gives you a rough idea of what the combination might be. You get it right on the second try. There's just one number in the phone book, unlabeled. You dial it and hear someone pick up. The voice is like a rusty pitchfork scraping against gravel.
Jackie, you're messing up my snuff session here. It better be something big.
Oh, God. I hope he means, like, drugs and not snuff film.
Me too.
That's a nice thing to hope.
Aww. You're messing up my session of polishing my collection of 1800s era novelty snuff tins. Number 2. Hi, I have something for you from Sophie Langley. Care to pick it up?
Silence. Not even a sound. The call ends. You try calling again, but the number is blocked. Nothing to do but wait and see if he shows up. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops where you're waiting. One door opens an invitation.
You just throw the fucking thing into the door like, bye.
The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but it currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different. Surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session.
Oh, nope.
You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then you realize there's nobody there. Or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure it's Kaiser.
What is this guy gonna look like? Oh,
Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile.
Show us his picture, you cowards!
Suddenly, someone grabs you from behind, twists your arm, and pushes your head against the car's roof.
I got him, boss! I have him!
The Nosferatu chuckles.
Jackie, you suck.
Oh, congratulations, dickweed. Could have done that before you gave away the fucking phone. Just let them go already.
But
You're gonna make me repeat myself, you thick motherfucker!
Well, this guy does not have the diction I expected.
He lets go. You take a look at him. The man is confused and clearly hurting. He flashes you an angry stare, but obeys his boss's orders to the letter.
What? You waiting for a formal invitation? Get in the car, we have some talking to do.
Okay, this is a really weird comparison. Like, I don't think this even really makes sense, but this guy almost looks like a Jack Skellington Gijinka.
Aww.
So, Langley,
Yeah.
huh? I'm guessing you've got something for me then.
You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happens to be turned away from you. It takes him about a minute to access the data.
Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago.
He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust.
Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address, she can give me something else.
Oh, well, I'm pretty sure presence will not work if this guy is as... He seems like a big deal.
Yeah. Present's pretty powerful, though. He might resent you for it later. But it'd probably work.
I don't think we want to go that route, because then I'm burning a bridge on behalf of someone, and I haven't been authorized to do that. So, ask him to give you a break seems too, like, pathetic to work. We'll try to ask him how we can make it up to him.
No.
Oh.
We have one option, it seems.
Oh, shit.
Oh.
You're not you're not hungry enough to think of these.
What? Okay.
All right.
I
All
will
right,
be
I
You
after
will be
you,
after this.
I.
fuckers.
All right.
You take on the most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniacal monster.
Come on, man. Don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It'd mean a lot to me.
The sound the Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. You're pretty sure he'd fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that.
Ooh, look at me. I'm so pretty and well-spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bullshit and you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur in the wounds, rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. If that wasn't the only option on your list, I'd fucking decimate you by now. I'd have fucking ripped your arms off and beaten you to death with them. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus, I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So I'm gonna give you the chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it up her cunt. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out.
Jeez, you could have just said no.
You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings.
Man, I feel bad for Jackie. I was like, asshole. Then I'm like, oh wait, that's the dude he works for.
Oh
Right.
yeah, rough.
Yeah.
All right, we got enough time for one of our buddies tonight.
All right.
The new one that we have access to is the gift that keeps on giving. It's been a while since you heard from D'Angelo, one whole night. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, or maybe he's pissed off the wrong people and is rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, now's as good a time as any to check up on him.
All right, we'll I want to make sure we at least see everyone, so we're gonna do the first parts of the other two before we go back to either of our existing ones. Let's do let's do the Malkavian. Let's do Hope.
Okay. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days, but behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on colorful online games. Man, they're out here late at night playing Club Penguin at 1 in the morning. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. You approach the man and tell him.
Oh, chat actually says those are blocked off because she's too hungry.
Oh, I see.
Oh, interesting.
That makes a little more sense, yeah. It's funny that if you're too hungry, you have to use presents.
Presents to...
Yeah. Asshole. Also, it's also funny to me that Sophie was like, so do this trade, and then as soon as you get the address, like, call me ASAP when you have the address. And we're like, oh, I didn't get the address. I'll go do some other errands before I bother checking in with Sophie.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't got it.
Technically. It's just number one. I'm looking for Hope. Not in the philosophical sense. I'm looking for a person.
He
named
releases
Hope.
a soft chuckle. Ain't we all? Takes a vape.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you and me both.
Fuck you.
The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and
Oh
down.
my
in
god,
silence.
you weren't even kidding.
After a long, awkward moment, I totally forgot that he did that, but I was just like, that feels like what he'd say. No. After a long, awkward moment, when you're ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. Come, right this way.
I'm not dignifying that with a laugh.
He heads back into the cafe, and you follow his lead. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or
Whoa.
games of Fortnite.
Facebook profiles have gotten a lot weirder since I last looked at them.
I don't know, that's kind of always what I've seen whenever I look at Facebook.
A dark
I've
black
always
void.
seen
Just this dark black void that I can't
a
look
fucked
into.
up ultrasound.
It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile gray corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Yeah, this game came out last year. This the sequel has adrenochrome references, so get ready for that.
That seems like the wrong question to ask, by the way. Would they still be spending their time this way if they were immortal? If you're immortal, that's when you can absolutely afford to dick around on Facebook and Fortnite all day.
Yeah.
Like, at that point, time's not a wasted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind your back and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After a brief consideration, you type in,
"For my challenge, you will have to defeat me in a hack-off."
It's not that, it's lamer.
Oh.
You're gonna do a battle royale in Fortnite? Wow.
Oh, I don't know why I'm deliberating over this so much, but this feels like the kind of thing maybe I will be judged for.
You are being tested, but not on your name. You get whatever, you can pick whatever name you want.
Okay. You know what? Let's go with the second one.
Ooh.
After QWERTY turns out to have been taken by someone else, you settle on QWERTYUOP, and it works. After a few seconds, the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Just to be clear, I don't have a wank rag. Oh, for the love of blah 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 blah, blah chat. Hi Twitch.
I like how they like did the text box for this.
You'll want to be reading this. No, I know I wasn't. QWERTYOP, identify yourself within 2 minutes or get the chat go silent. Everybody seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick you out.
Ooh. I'm a fat. Man. God, I have no read on what is expected of me in this strange social context. I'll just say the first one.
Looking for hope.
Looking for hope. Is she here?
Who the fuck are you? This was meant to be a safe channel. Investigating what went wrong. How'd they even get in? Can you get their location? Yeah, gonna DM it to anyone interested. Oh boy, you're in trouble now. Yeah, you're gonna regret. You're gonna regret cuts off the day you decided to spy on us.
Presents trying to get the
Spoiler alert!
How would that even
Spoiler
work?
alert! That's not how presence works.
Yeah. The first one?
Calm down. Fuck off. That one guy brought me here. Doubtful. Thought this was a place where I could meet Hope. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. Jerry, how are things going on your end? Got the info. Nice. You want to die, asshole? You'll die. You will die. Die.
Neoliberal.
Yeah. Sentence for death for a shitty basic online handle. I'm literally on my way to kill you. Right now.
Right now.
Yeah, sorry to inform you, you're about to die. Rip, bitch.
Rip, bitch.
You're getting your throat slit right here,
Oh.
right now. A split
is-
second after you read the message, you feel someone's arm tightening around your neck. The violent return to reality catches you off guard. A jolt of panic runs through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily.
What is fucking going on?
You've come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker.
A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with.
Last words.
Number. I have to. You're number 3. Your chat room sucks ass.
Hey, that's just rude. I still laughed.
The hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly.
Don't struggle, or I'll break your windpipe. Or my phone, which would end even worse for you.
Sounds of a camera shutter and a light flashing. Did they just take some selfies with you?
All right, enough fun. I'm letting you go, and we can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Miss Intruder. Pretty please.
This is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, no, she's not what you're expecting.
Malkavians never are.
The mysterious assailant loosens their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a good look at them.
Let me just finish this.
It's a pale, blonde woman in her 20s, giving you slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone's screen. First, you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Then you take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second.
Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry. That's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission.
And she's back to her phone. With a relatively small build, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead, and even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her.
Calm yourself, girl. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just, I feel stupid saying it out loud. A vibe check.
I wish I had a dialogue option. Yeah, that does sound stupid. Oh man, does Theodora, is she hip with the kids?
I don't think so.
I don't
Probably
think
not.
she is. Yeah, no, number 1. Vibe check?
Yeah. I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet in a dangerous situation. And I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you've probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries. But come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those.
Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie.
Your chat room sucks ass was so funny. So there's that. Unless you really meant it, in which case, hey, fuck you. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later.
On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant.
Well, yeah, as far as they know, you're dead in real life.
Yeah.
But look, if we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here?
About time she asked. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice.
I'm trying to remember, what did Sophie say that she does that, like, I should talk to her about?
She's good on mortal trends and is an effective computer person.
All right. Number 1. Sophie Langley sent me here.
Langley? Mm-hmm. Wait. Shit. Are you the new Langley plaything?
Word seems to be getting around fast.
Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she'd start building a network. Your missions tell me that could really come in handy when, but Langley, it's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Piss off. Well, then again, fucking Kara.
She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself, only parts of it audible. Is it just you, or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you can make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone.
Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I proposed a little game.
You're not making snuff films for Mr. Burns, are you?
Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above it. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seem to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera.
Alright, I was kidding.
Wait a minute.
You want my help? Moderate my cam show?
Oh my god, she's a fucking cam girl?
Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion.
Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to be my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment.
She's serious.
Show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do.
As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap.
If you, I won't hold a grudge. I got places to be. It's fingers in his ass Sunday after all.
Only here on Twitch. In the world of darkness, Twitch lets you do that. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the Masquerade? High. Content warnings? Oh, yes. So, do you take the job?
Christ. Number one. Let's fucking do it. Why the hell not?
Hope brightens up and her smile looks surprisingly sincere.
I should warn you, though, I'm a millennial.
Excellent. I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. All right, give me a second.
She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before, then urges you to sit down. The explanation of the moderator's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It is a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force.
How are you doing tonight, hopefuls?
You peek at the chat. We're not worthy, queen! Fucking A! Angel! Hell yeah, time to fuck!
I love these names. Sexy Bozo. I tag myself, I'm Sexy Bozo.
Wait. Why is it, like, shouldn't it really be asking us to respond to individual messages? Alright, well, whatever. Everything there seems fine in accordance with what she wants, so we'll ignore.
You're tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously you won't punish someone for a little dirty talk.
Thank you. Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Quirdiop.
LMAO, LMAO. Oh, who? LMAO, sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual, or maybe they and Hope came up with this one specifically for you. Who knows? You decide to stay silent. Eventually, people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show.
All right, let's start this one with a bang, shall we?
Just explodes.
It begins. Oh boy, she's gonna do it.
So
No, I'm sure it's gonna. I'm trying to figure out. I want to preempt this joke because I'm 100% convinced it's not going to be sexual. It's going to be something far weirder, and I'm trying to guess what it's gonna be. God, she's got masks. I don't know. I'm just gonna guess puppet show.
Okay. So, this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera.
Oof.
Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, and then bites. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying, gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is sure, no ordinary human could cause such damage.
I was hoping for puppet show.
If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you'd expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope's technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing Vitae all over her hand to maximize the impact of the violent image. Then, she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The contrast of her behavior with her look as an Instagram model is stunning. Once she's done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after, the wound is gone. It's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it.
Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show.
While you're wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your bewildered face and turns to your direction.
How's that for an opening? This is not a sex show.
Oh, God. What are even the words? All right, well, the last one, it was gonna get me called a lamer for even asking. All of these are pretty bewildered, so I'm guessing this doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna state the obvious and say number 2. You're shooting snuff?
Come on, just because it's transgressive violence doesn't mean it's snuff.
A brief moment of awkward silence.
Besides, if I was shooting snuff, I wouldn't mend the wound. If you expected a strip show, yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live stream digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course.
You peek at the chat. They're going wild. She did that for free! I'd love to lick your wrist, clean my fallen angel. Ha ha ha, yes! Nothing more arousing than a beautiful woman teetering on the edge of oblivion. A rose petal dancing in the eye of a violent hurricane.
I love this! But eroticism is not the key here. It's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration.
She bares her fangs again in a devious grin.
But I've no interest in auto-destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending Moons is just one of these powers. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry. The only thing the audience can...
Oops.
It went away.
Sorry.
The only thing the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember, moderate the chat, will you?
High risk of violating the Masquerade. What a joke. She's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, you turn your attention to the screen. Wooey wappa. Alright, I'm feeling generous today. I'll pay for the next attraction. Looking like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. Just letting you know you're based. I know.
What? Hang on. Go back up real quick. Can you scroll back?
Oh, I could before it
Oh.
Here we go. All right,
okay.
I'm feeling generous today. Have you planned your next tattoo yet? I'll pay for the next attraction. Looking like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. Just letting you know you're based. I know. OMG.
If this is the content of the stream, what on earth could people post in the chat where you'd be like, hey, buddy, you crossed the line?
That is a good question.
Well,
so we were told by default ignore.
Yeah, if you don't see anybody, if you don't think anybody's like fucking around or being stupid on purpose, you ignore them. If they are causing small trouble, you kick them, and then if they're causing big trouble, you ban them.
All right, I ignore. These guys are idiots, but they're 100% generic Twitch idiots. No offense, viewers. So
not like you guys. You guys are great.
Yeah,
you guys are great.
You guys are far above the average.
I haven't seen any sort of.
I have seen no references to pink marshmallows covered in raspberry sauce.
Yeah.
You let the guy vent his excitement. Seems harmless. A special message appears on the chat log claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show.
Oh.
Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see. Drink up, drink up, drink up! Hope pours the contents of the bag into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood, but wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake.
Oh, that's just how media works, baby.
Yeah.
Well, I thought I was supposed to be a fucking, corporate bigwig. Are you telling me I don't know enough about social media manipulation?
I think you work in finance.
Oh, alright.
I mean,
only
don't worry. It pays well enough.
You don't even bother to tell her that this is not what you're thinking about. Safe to assume she knows.
So, what do you know about the Kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything?
While she's waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feed, she decides to start a conversation.
Number 2? That seems like an obvious... If they're, I'd almost be surprised if no one had...
set
that up in violation of... Yeah.
Yep.
Is there a vampire internet?
If you find something that looks like the vampire internet, stay away. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything.
She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. On how many things can she concentrate at one time exactly?
Then one day, the NSA got in. Turns out elders never really got the hang of proper security practices, or the sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't work as advertised, unlike NordVPN.
This is
Yeah. Should've used
Does your
NordVPN.
sigil just not work? With
Did
one
you
click-
know the founder of the Malkavian bloodline was John McAfee?
Yeah.
I'll be real
I
with
believe
you,
it.
right?
If he belongs to any of them.
Then, of course, all the other 3-lettered intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies for our post 9/11 times. The Second Inquisition came into being. You ever heard of it?
What's the point of a big public enemy to replace generic terrorists that you can't actually tell the public about?
Yeah, they're not.
Secret money.
They're not very good at it. Basically the Second Inquisition. Vampires think that they're all like generally like super connected intelligence agencies from all over the world, but really it's like very lightly connected small groups within certain 3-letter agencies figuring shit out and being like, we gotta keep this a secret and like kill as many of them as we can because this is bad.
Yeah. A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old network serve as a government honeypot, kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post certain keywords on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation.
Hashtag Fat Fang Friday.
Yeah.
God, that's funny. You get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there's a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from all the authorities.
She stretches on the bed.
I hope you're still monitoring the chat.
Of course not. You're as good at dividing your attention as she. You're not as good at dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent messages. Aw, is she talking to someone? Can't wait for the real thing to start. The two monitor setup rules. Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the second. Only woman I don't hate. God. Hope, more like my favorite hoe, said by Hope has crabs and gonorrhea.
We have to kick him. He's a hater.
What do you think, Aaron?
He is...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was muted because someone whooped in the background, and I saw that it made it through Discord.
This last guy is a jerk.
I mean, I also want to kick the only woman I don't hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
no,
mean
we'll
Dick
say
Steele is an
Dick
MRA?
Steele- Dick Steele, secret agent. Yeah, let's kick.
You give the guy a kick. Get yourself a normal nickname, douchebag. After 10 seconds, he's back with the same handle. Time for a decision. Ignore, ban.
Oh, you can't kick and then ignore. You have to ban.
Yeah. This kind of nickname only suggests trouble. You get rid of them permanently.
Good job.
Good job. I haven't had crabs or gonorrhea since the Middle Ages.
Since I was alive. She's keeping close tabs on you.
Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to the Camarilla their network got compromised, the elders went batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who used social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. And that goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with final death.
Thanks to user Dick Steele, the next goal has just gotten successfully funded. Let's go!
Thanks to user Dick Steele has funded the next goal. Violence against women.
What?
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Vanishing act. Dehumanize yourself and face to bloodshed. She raises her hand. 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, 1 finger up. The countdown ends, and she immediately disappears from the screen like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, you swear you can make out some unusual glitching where her silhouette should be, but it could very well just be a placebo.
You ready for this? 3, 2, 1.
A flash of the camera. The instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this a fantasy? Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? You realize you're way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture.
Those are some wild times, especially in New York. While most of them have no clue as to our real nature, a lot of... Oh, you have to go up a bit.
A lot of clandestine.
Organizations have classified us as national threats. Since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here looking for easy PR victories. The last SI raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one. Stirred up the Hornet's Nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, NYC is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War II, and the cam as a whole got real spooked and swore off the internet.
Now, is Prince Panhard in charge of, like, all of New York?
She is in charge of New York City.
Okay, so she's referring to Prince Panhard.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And of course they're not dumb, and understand you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's like a gray zone right now, like piracy. Technically frowns upon, but let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is a real threat, no joke. But in many senses, the darkest place is right under the candle.
You take another look at the screen. We want blood. How about some bat stuff? Can you do some bat stuff? Can you show us next time? It's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up.
Is that from? I know. I saw that before. I don't know.
He was one of them that was like key mashing earlier.
Hmm.
Except last time it seemed like he was doing it for a respectable reason. Now he's just doing it.
If it were a real Twitch chat, I'd probably let you do one message like that, and if you were like actually spamming it, I would like ban you, but
this is the world of darkness.
I wonder what the game wants from me.
In the world of darkness, key smashes are more evil.
Alright, I'm gonna kick him.
Okay. You give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. The message is deleted so fast, Hope might not have even noticed. A duty carried out well. You're surprised to feel an inkling of pride.
Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard.
Oh, just like humans.
Exerting yourself. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. It's something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14. So romantic. And it drives them crazy.
As proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for.
In real Twitch chat, Crimson Crusader 127, you ever just sweat and pee to own the vamps?
Every day I do this. Let's see. An angel that fell down from heaven. Big tears. OMG, she did it again. Beatific. Hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. Can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cruise the border and suck blood out of any illegal they found? The very thought gives me the biggest boner. Fuck, man.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
Do the right thing, Aram.
You're banned.
And banned.
To be clear, you realize what we're doing here is a blatant breach of the Masquerade, right? I honestly expected you to leave, or to inform somebody by now, but you haven't.
Well, the game didn't give me the option, to be fair.
You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on the screen.
Oh, this guy again?
Ban.
Looks like Mr. Masochist needs a longer break. After you ban him, you hear Hope's voice.
Good job handling that guy.
Vampire's one weakness, unconnected letters.
Right, if nothing else works out, seems like you fit this job at the very least.
When I was a young man slaving away in the high-paying corporate CEO mines, I dreamed of one day being a Twitch chat moderator.
In any case,
The last goal has just been funded.
it's time for the great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right?
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers.
You wanted blood? Come out into the streets, claw out your neighbors' throats, slash their veins, and drink up.
Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Hope's presence seems to be absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they're possessed.
Liberate yourselves from the shackles of ordinary morality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails.
What the hell is she doing to these people? What have you gotten yourself into?
Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world.
This is some Danganronpa shit.
She jerks violently for a second and then falls down on the bed like a marionette that just had its strings severed. She exhales loudly a few times. And laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again.
All right, that's enough.
Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. The stream ends and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet.
Let me take over.
The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you. What the fuck just happened? Guess the show's over. Everyone relax and go home. Aw, and I was almost ready to come, bros. Hostage, I swear on my father's grave, one day I will find you and kick the ever-living shit out of you. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice. She changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You caught glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have you started to figure it out.
Number 3. But that's impossible.
I'm immortal. I'm bored. I'm separated from most vampires in the city by a generational chasm. And I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. Years ago, I started researching tulpas, collective unconsciousness, and all the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment.
The show was fake.
A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentariat, a viral shit poster, a cryptocurrency expert. All of my internet selves started signal boosting each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire surrounded by legions of psycho fans.
The chat was fake.
Some may think some may think of it as dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them and gave birth to new ones and let them crossbreed.
Her constant tapping at the phone, even during the show. Somehow she's capable of impersonating an entire chat room.
I don't even have a self that could disassociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an informative conduit, to process trends and support ones I deem worthy.
There was no Masquerade violation. She was showing off her skills all along. She put you into a world of pure fiction, the same way she was testing you back when she attacked you from the back.
Come with
she's good at this.
me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination.
Of course, you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian, but hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. And if there was ever an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it's this one. Although for now, because of the Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? Hell no.
I'm gonna answer honestly. Hell no. Hell no.
Aw, no fun. But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you?
She puts her phone away for the first time since you've met her and gives you a good hard look.
I guess I can give it a shot, yeah. You're not that dumb, you're not that boring, but you're kind of cute. Don't worry. No more modding jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news.
She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of her room.
I've put you through enough shit. Next time, I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets, and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me.
She leads you through a labyrinth of gray corridors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through in.
This city is so much more than what the elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years.
She leads you out of the building into the back alleys.
If someone else rules the streets, we'll rule the information highways. This is the power of hope.
She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she leaves you alone, but you assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally. The power of hope. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago. I love hope.
Well, that was fucking bizarre.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a I'm not sure how I feel about that character, but that was a very clever scenario and conceit. And if you were tasked with writing a Malkavian based on what little I know about them, that and like this is your character brief, where it's like a Malkavian, but like we want them, they're going to be like the tech character, and this is set in modern times. That's a really fascinating way to connect two ideas to make a character concept. So I'll give them props for that at least.
Yeah, I love Hope.
Yeah, Hope's pretty good.
I struggle with Malkavians more often than not. I'm usually like really on the fence about them, period.
Really great.
But I feel like Hope was one of those ones where I was like, just the concept was good.
Yep.
Like, yeah, props to him.
All right. We rest. You're walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted this time of night. In NYC, there are plenty of passerbys going about their business.
You're walking through the woods. There's no one around, and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him.
It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by a crowd of humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible, indistinguishable from normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. Is that old man there just a tired restaurant worker, or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car ordinary cops, or Second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead threats? This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you felt like this. Whatever this is, it's probably just something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be attacked and killed.
I feel like in this setting, you kind of just have to make peace with the idea that
Someone
people are
is
watching you all the time. Yeah.
Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea someone might know where you sleep.
Oh, okay.
As you wake as you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. It's the Kaiser's lackey who you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach.
Jackie the lackey. That's what they call me.
That's what they call me. Jackie the lackey. He still looks kind of rough after your last brawl, but the damage to his face is clearly mended. His hands are out of his pockets, though, a sign of goodwill. It's close enough.
Number one. What the hell do you want?
Boss sent me. He's got a message for you. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, and then give it back here.
This is just another string of expletives.
It's a letter. The paper might just be a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads,
"Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Neromaro. When they tell you they don't have it, say you're a fedele servitore dea familia G. Those exact fucking words, and make sure you get the G right. You'll get a bottle. Just take it and leave it by saying grazie. Don't ask how much it is or anything else. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie Boy here and let him know." You done? Memorize that shit and hand it over.
Is the game actually testing us to memorize?
Okay. The game will give you everything you need.
Okay. Number 2, I guess. I feel like giving this guy a little shit. Letters, passwords. What's with all this cloak and dagger nonsense?
That's how the boss likes it. No am I to argue. I just do what he says. You about done with that letter? You note the phrases and address mentioned in the letter and then hand it back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and then burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. And do it soon so that I'm not standing here all night. I'll be in that alley over there, so you'll find me when you have the item. Whatever it is, I don't know. And the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care. So I don't. See ya.
I hope we go and do this and we come back and we find that he has been mugged by completely mundane puffs.
He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita.
Wait, aren't I supposed to call...
You don't have the address yet.
What? But he gave me an address?
No, this is so that you do something for him so that he will actually give you the thing that Sophie wants.
I think if this were like a TTR, if this were an RPG with a GM, I would just not even want to
fuck with it at all.
I would I would do it, but I wouldn't even, if there was a 1% chance that this is the address that Sophie wanted, I would have called her first to be like, hey, I got this address. I don't know if this is what you're looking for, but I wanted to. But then again, she told us to call immediately, and it's been a day and a half. Yeah. So fucking whatever, I guess.
You might be dead in a fucking, someone's trunk. And she's like, I wonder why they never called me.
You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting local restaurant patrons, the street is mostly empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small, middle-aged woman with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room with a small table and chair, occupied by a man in a black faux leather jacket with slick, combed-back hair. He's reading a newspaper, but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup and then gets back to his broadsheet.
Good evening. How can I help you?
So I was just told to come here and pretty much just immediately be like, I wish to purchase this specific wine,
Yep,
right?
come here and do exactly what the fuck he
Okay.
says without
Then
doing
we're gonna be
anything
direct.
different. Yeah.
I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negro Amaro, please.
Let me check our stock. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Good. Let me check our stock.
She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the computer. She puts on a polite smile.
I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment. Sorry.
Recite the phrase straight and simple. I am a... Oh, fuck. I'm gonna butcher the shit out of this, but... I am a fedele servitore della familia G.
Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please.
The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes.
Remain silent and wait.
You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the letter and keep quiet, patiently waiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled, squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile.
Excuse me. Sorry for taking so long. It turns out we did have it.
She offers you the bottle, and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it.
You do know what this is, don't you?
I don't see a reason to immediately jump to presents, so I'll say number 2. Listen, I don't have time for this. I knew the phrase right, just hand it over.
She gives her companion a quick look. He's on edge, his knuckles white on the chair, but he's just watching you.
Of course. Here.
Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave Nolita and drive back to your apartment. Takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car and start looking for Jackie. He's not too far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods?
Number 1. Yeah, like fucking Jackie's gonna have any idea what this is. Yes, number 1. I sure do.
Cool. Stand by. Gotta make the call. Takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings and takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time.
They say high-tech phone, and I'm imagining it's like one of those mobile phones from the 80s that's like the size of a fucking, like 5-pound barbell.
Hey, boss. Yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay. Yeah, I'll tell him to go there right away. He puts the phone back in his pocket and turns back to you. Willets Point, half an hour, so you better step on it. See you around. With only a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to the car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willets Point is quite a change of scenery. This place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes will kill your chassis. You step out onto one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing in the ankle-deep water.
I hate it when that happens.
Kaiser's limo is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted, other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who's just locking the place up.
I highly doubt middle-aged woman is going to succeed for me, even if I wanted to, so we're gonna look around for Kaiser.
You take a walk around the neighborhood. It mostly consists of rundown shops and garages, with more than a few derelict cars left here over the years to rust. You imagine it must be a great place for one of the sewer rats to hide out in, so you're on guard the whole time, but as far as you can tell, you're the only kindred here. It is only when you hear the cars stopping nearby and see that it is apparently Kaiser's black limo that you relax a bit and approach it. Same as last time. The car doors open, but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time Kaiser is visible when you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you.
So, you pulled it off without a hitch, then. Give it here.
Oh my god, I just realized who this guy actually looks like. I'll wait till he's on screen again.
You hand the bottle over to the Nosferatu. He uncorks it gently, takes a whiff, and puts the cork back in.
Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know.
So, this might be a stretch, but something about the glasses and like the shape of his face, this guy looks like undead Mitch McConnell.
Yeah, he sure does.
Darkness.
Gross.
World of darkness.
In the world of darkness, Mitch
My
McConnell is worse than a vampire.
Yeah,
In the real world, he's just a vampire.
My god, this vampire, he's almost as horrifying as the real Mitch McConnell. Yeah, go ahead.
Here's Langley's precious address.
He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside.
I'm not gonna get cute with this guy. Let's just thank him.
Yeah, he seems like a murderer.
Thank you, Mr. Kaiser.
Yeah, I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out. Now.
He waves you out the car. With the envelope in your hand, you get out, back onto the torn asphalt and decrepit surroundings. The limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie's having a guest over.
Ooh, who's it gonna be?
Thomas Arturo.
Oh yeah!
You met in Elysium a few nights back. That shriek is unmistakable.
Ah, Theodora, I'm so glad to see you. Tell me, did you two have a chance to talk previously?
Thomas speaks up before you can.
I'll do my impression of his shriek. Why, yes, of course. And such a good first impression you made, too. Miss Langley clearly did the right thing by taking you under her wing. I'm sure she thinks so, too, don't you, Sophie?
Oh, why, of course.
Of course you do. Of course. Well, I believe I must be going. I'll be sure to let Prince Panard know your thoughts, Miss Langley. Word for word, or as close as I can remember them.
I appreciate it, Thomas.
You two enjoy your night now. Goodbye, Sophie, Theodora, Greggy boy.
Slap. He slaps Greg's face on the way out. Greg is just like, I'm going to kill him.
Cheek.
He gives you a sly smile. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The doors close.
Number 3. So what's his deal?
Same as everyone's. Position, power, influence. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked
I'm
you
sorry,
for?
Sophie. The game made me wait 2 days. I think she'd probably be interested to know more of what happens. So we'll say the top one. You know, we'll come clean. Yes, I have it, but the data you offered was old news to him. I had to do another job for him before he would give me this card.
She retrieves the envelope from you.
I'm sure he did. I do hope it wasn't too much of an inconvenience.
Number one. He made me go on an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of, finger quotes, wine from a store in Nolita. Had to use code phrases and whatnot.
Wine shop. Code phrases. Oh, that degenerate pest.
She's visibly agitated, but calms down and smiles at you.
Oh, don't worry about it. I'll make sure whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over.
She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw on Kaiser's note from before, but you can't see the details. Her eyes widen.
Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear Charge. I'll contact you soon.
With that, Sophie ushers you outside, and you are left to do with the rest of this night's hours as you like. All right, we've got our regular 4 on the table, but we have another. Somebody's watching me. Recently, you feel as if somebody keeps tailing on you. Time to confirm your suspicions. Or you could just go back and choose some of our big main characters.
I would fucking laugh and also punch a wall in frustration if I did that and it was just church guy again.
Oh,
like, have you been thinking about my Bible study class?
Have you been thinking, I'd like to talk to you about Jesus again today?
Well, okay, so without really knowing anything, is it worth doing that? Would you say?
No.
All right, so then let's go see Tamika.
There are a couple of little red herrings in this one, and that is one of them. Like it's an interesting little story, but not at all relevant to the grander plot. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arc. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it countless times, in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the northwest gate into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkept foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. This is our Gangrel. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees. Quick, but evenly paced, most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone.
Okay, so I'm perceiving that if I try to feed on this person, it's gonna give me a black mark with the gangrels. That's what I'm expecting anyway. Oh. Okay.
So Gangrel are very straightforward. I will always I'll let you know that the Gangrel are very straightforward, and yeah, they'll probably give you shit for feeding on their turf, but also they expect you to feed on their turf.
I see. Well, we'll give it a shot then. And until this midnight jogger turns out to be another 65-year-old mustachioed man somehow.
You lost. It's the same guy.
Oh man, I'm glad. It's like, man, I'm never going back to those tennis courts. I'll have to get my exercise some other way. Oh shit!
Not again. You lock onto the sound of footsteps. Predicting the runner's path, you move swiftly but quietly to intercept them. You hide behind a tree and wait for your prey to get closer. Mere seconds later, a young man in an off-brand tracksuit trots into view. You notice the buds in his ears. Beat-heavy music bleeding through. That should make things easier. Just as the man passes by, you emerge behind him and plant your hand firmly on his neck. He struggles at first, desperately trying to break free of your grasp, but soon as your fangs pierce his skin, panic gives way to peaceful submission. You feel elated as the warm liquid trickles down your throat. The fresh vitae washes over your senses, sending an orgasmic shiver along your spine.
Oh, hey, okay, now I actually noticed it go away this time. But I still don't really perceive any difference between blood and no blood.
More blood, yeah.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the deepest, darkest crevices of your mind, the beast stirs in its slumber. You stop feeding just in time, your hunger satiated and the beast fast asleep. You sit, the dazed victim, on a nearby bench. As the world comes back into focus, you suddenly realize that something is not right. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, all right. But he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over, calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over to her, puffing up his chest.
"Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled her first."
Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you.
"You shouldn't have come here, girlie. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie."
Tamika looks at you, expectantly.
Now, I honestly cannot remember the advice that Sophie gave us about how to socialize with Gangrel.
I will give you some advice. Be straightforward, do not back down.
Okay, because that's what I would expect intuitively, but then I thought I remembered Sophie being like, make sure whatever you fucking do, don't offend them.
Yeah, don't offend them by showing your belly.
I see. Number 2. Alright, boy, let's see if your bite is as bad as your bark.
Clearly taken aback, he looks over to Tamika as if gauging
She
her reaction.
said a mean thing to me! Guess I know who you're number 2. Guess I know who the alpha is around here.
A barely visible smile creeps up on Tamika's lips. The man's eyes narrow, although you can't really see it. You could bet the hair on the back of his neck just stood up.
"Shut your mouth, you stuck-up bitch. You should have run when you had the chance."
A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear as if she was scolding a puppy. She then leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm, yet oddly affectionate.
Oh, I love her outfit.
Yeah, she's
like
great.
her whole design.
Yeah, it's okay, Raoul. I'll handle it from here.
The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment. Then he turns back towards you.
"You want to waste time on this bitch, Tam? Be my guest."
Having said his piece, Raoul retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika returns to you once more.
What do you want?
We'll butter her up indirectly by not buttering her up. We'll just say straight to the point, yeah.
Number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Straight to the point, huh? I like that.
I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say, say it.
Number 1. I come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services, such as they are, All I would hope for in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship. I've set up an Outlook appointment so that we can discuss the particulars.
So, you want to help me with something? Because you want to be my friend? That about right?
Number 2. Well, it sounded better the way I said it, but yeah, that's the gist of it.
Uh-huh.
She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued.
That's very earnest of you. But it's also kind of silly. But I think I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So, why exactly should I trust anything you say?
Can you remind me who was Jezebel? I know
Jezebel is her sire. Jezebel is her sire, according
Right.
to Sophie. Who has
Okay,
disappeared
we're not
with
gonna
Nate.
bring that up. I'm just gonna say number 1. I don't expect you to. Not yet, anyway.
Good. Because my trust is earned, not given.
Number 1. Then let me earn it. A few nights of your time, that's all I ask.
For a brief moment, she stands there, motionless, looking straight into your eyes as if trying to size you up. Finally, she looks away. It looks like she's come to a decision.
Just so we're clear, I don't trust you. I have no reason to. And frankly, you sound more lost than I am. Still, there's something about you. You look like you should reek of bullshit, but somehow you don't.
Is it the turtleneck?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
is.
It is.
So, I'll give you a chance to prove yourself. I have some outstanding business to take care of. I'll let you know once that's done. Meet me here, and we'll see what you're really made of.
And with that, Tamika disappears into the night. That went pretty well, all things considered.
Yeah,
Oh. Okay. That was
straightforward.
Very
Yeah.
straightforward.
compared to fucking Hope. That was like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Gangrel are very straightforward. Malkavians are never straightforward.
All right.
Alright, we rest up. Ooh.
Oh, I've got a fat guy now.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
is
the
this?
fuck is
We've
this?
got a nosy reporter, part 1. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's Haven. She could use your help with the problem. We've got Benoit again.
Bad.
Benoit Segal wants to meet you again at the cathedral. You
I
wonder
bet
why
he
that,
fucking does.
whether that mysterious priest will be there. And likewise, we still got somebody's watching me. I will say, Paul Blart is not worth digging into.
It's fucking Paul
Yeah.
Blart and Paul Cop.
Yeah.
Okay. We are gonna.
I could justify Benoit or any of the others.
No, fuck Benoit. I hate him.
yeah. Fair.
Because he wasted my time.
Yeah.
Let's. Boy.
Get back with
I-
Agathon. We're at the
I'm
second tier in
considering-
all of them.
Yeah, I'm considering getting back with Agathon because like we could like cycle through everyone again, something like that.
By doing so, I believe at this point, in doing so, you would miss out on Tamika's end. If we were to cycle through them in the same order as we did last time.
Oh, okay. If we were I thought you meant like
Right.
this is the one time block left.
No,
so
no,
if we
no,
do
no, no,
Agathon, even we'd miss. Okay. So we've gotten to see everyone's first stage.
Yep.
I'm gonna say, I am the ones I definitely. Or do they all have 2?
They all have 3, I believe.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna say the ones that so far I am most interested in completing are probably probably shit. What's his name?
You talking about D'Angelo?
Yeah, D'Angelo and Hope.
Mm-hmm. I will say,
and yeah,
Hope's I think is a little like Hope's ends on a less interesting note. I think the two most interesting ones that have like a really cool story are D'Angelo's, Agathon's, and Tamika's. Hope's is all right, but her intro is very, very strong and very difficult to top.
that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Then. Yeah, we'll stick with the plan for it. Let's follow up with Agathon first.
Okay.
And we'll probably end up completing those three, the three that you suggested.
Mm-hmm.
God, that guy sure is just Paul Blart Mall Cop.
You know what to expect when you return to the small bookstore serving as Agathon's haven. The cacophony of occult imagery assaults you from the book covers displayed on the window, but under the fake facade there's something real. This time, the Buddhists and the satanic Bibles of the storefront seem almost funny, or perhaps you've started to tune into the dry humor of these Tremere. Just as you're about to ring the doorbell, the door opens and Agathon storms out. You step aside just in time to avoid him having him stumble into you.
Theodora, what are you doing here?
Agathon bursts out of the shop, toast in his mouth. I'm almost late to vampire school.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't know why we're even getting hey, don't be a dick. All he's asking is why we're here. Jeez. We'll say we came to help him. Look, I came to help you like last time.
Okay. Fine, you're right. Follow me.
As he turns to go, Agathon looks almost pleased you're here. Agathon walks to his car with you in tow. It didn't occur to you last time, but it's a surprisingly pedestrian vehicle, an aging mid-sized family sedan. You imagine what it would look like with a baby seat in the back.
Oh man, are we gonna get...
You're gonna get some deep Agathon lore throughout the course of this, and it's very good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Opening the door on the driver's side, Agathon notices your look.
Laugh all you want, but it's inconspicuous and practical.
You sit in the car. Yeah, that's what we get. You sit in the car and Agathon starts driving in his usual careful style. At least you'll never be stopped by traffic cops. It seems that Agathon is not interested in small talk.
Agathon looks almost pleased to see you, though you're not sure how you can tell. I'll ask, what's this all about? I love a good mystery as much as the next vampire, but at some point you have to tell me what we're doing.
Let me ask you a question in return. Have you ever tasted animal blood? From sheep, for example.
No. I'm the nice blood
I can't do
liking
that.
yeah. New York is not the best place to hunt for wildlife, you know.
You'd be surprised. There are plenty of pigeons, rats, dogs, cats. But your instinct is correct. Animal blood tastes vile. If it didn't, our own lives would be very different. Anyway, something to think about.
What does that even mean, Agathon?
Really makes you think.
It really makes you think, huh?
You exit Manhattan over the Brooklyn Bridge and soon reach the site of a nightclub that seems to be your destination. It's on the riverfront, a converted former warehouse. After Agathon parks the car, it's time for you to enter the nightclub. You glance at the Tremere, evaluating him. It's obvious this is not his kind of place.
Oh, hey, do you want to see the murder scene while we're here?
Yeah. You may have worked in finance, but your colleagues got into some crazy shit if they did enough cocaine. You're not a party girl, but you don't stand out in a nightclub. Agathon does.
There's a good chance the research notes are here.
Number 2. You're not certain what we're looking for is here?
Nothing in life or death is certain.
There's a line into the club. It looks like a popular night, even if based on the crowd. This is not exactly a place for supermodels and celebrities.
I don't see any... Well, he hasn't really conveyed that there is an immediate urgency.
He's a Tremere. There is always an immediate urgency.
I see.
That said, he's already your buddy. You'd have to fuck up colossally in order for him to be like, I don't want to talk to you for the third mission.
Yeah, we're gonna wait in line until he's like...
I've got dominate, fuck.
This is taking too long, I'm gonna miss the farmer's market!
You join the line with Agathon. He looks uncomfortable, as if he'd hoped that you could somehow get in faster.
Number 3, don't you have power? Are you a little pee-pee boy? No. We're gonna...
I'm not a little pee-pee boy!
I'm not a little pee-pee boy, I'm not!
What the fuck?
We're vampires, it's
That's
blood,
going
we
to
call
get
it...
clipped, guys. You realize that?
It's vampires, it's blood, we don't call it pee-pee, it's called BB.
You know, I learned something interesting the other night. If you try really hard, you can piss.
Really?
I didn't know that.
Really? He just stands in line, and all of a sudden...
Oh shit!
Number 2. It's better if we play it cool. No risk of blowing our cover, just 2 club goers waiting in line.
Fine. You're right. Let's not make a spectacle of ourselves.
You stand in line for 15 minutes and eventually get past the bouncer and step inside. Dominate is an in-clan discipline for the Tremere. He could have just done exactly what your option was.
Yeah.
The music beats down on you, bringing with it memories of a human existence. The first time you went dancing with friends, when you flirted with someone on the dance floor. This time it's different. You're a predator, and everyone around you is prey. Tightly packed, twitching sacks of blood and tissue. You sense the emotions all around you. Blood tinted with happiness, lust, rage, jealousy, love. A buffet of sensations.
Focus. Keep an eye out for trouble while I look for what we came to find.
You nod and follow Agathon through the throng, trying to ignore all the warmth, flesh, and circulating blood around you.
Okay, we're fine,
You're
so
full,
we're gonna
yeah.
actually do our job this time. We really fucking lucked out with
Yeah.
D'Angelo. I'm not gonna try again.
Eyes on the prize. You came here to help Agathon, and that's what you'll do. Agathon wades through the dancing
Shut
people.
up, people outside.
Agathon wades through the dancing people with purpose, but you have no idea how he is searching for the missing research notes.
Those are the club goers. That's my Foley.
Yeah.
You like it?
Perhaps he's using the enhanced senses of a vampire or some esoteric sorcery. At least he seems to know what he's doing.
Juno.
You swerve to avoid a drunken man who is about to spill beer on you to try and see what Agathon's looking at. A young woman, intense, purposeful, a little out of place at the nightclub, just like you and Agathon.
He never, explained who Juno was, right?
I don't believe so. Just
Okay,
that he
then-
was investigating a place that she was at and that she had perhaps left some notes behind.
Okay, then I'm gonna say number 1 to see if we can get any idea of what that's about. Who is Juno?
She's Tremere, a renegade. Bad news.
The woman, Juno, elbows a drunken man out of her way and points a finger at Agathon's face.
Abadacadabra!
Mo, you
You
can
can
have
be
this
Juno.
one.
Oh, sure. Agathon, you traitor. Don't you dare stand between me and what's mine.
She's always angry sounding.
Always.
Just about always. You look at the woman in surprise. Her appearance stands in contrast with the anger in her words.
Juno, you know Aisling will not let you leave with the notes. Perhaps she won't let you leave at all.
Oh, we haven't even met the person with the biggest hair. Not yet.
Are we sure? Because
We have not by a mile. You'll
That is-
see.
That is absurd.
Juno pulls close to Agathon's face and stage whispers loudly enough for you to hear it over the music.
You're still so brainwashed that you care about what Aisling fucking Sturbridge wants. I'm done jumping through her hoops. I don't know what I saw in you, Agathon. You're such a fucking lapdog.
Number 3. That's the vibe I'm picking up. Sorry to interrupt, but is this woman your ex?
Yes, we used to date.
Ah.
Ah, and maybe we still would if you weren't such a fucking coward, Agathon.
That's not fair, Juno.
I'm not a little pee-pee boy.
I'm not a little pee-pee boy.
It's fair and you know it. You're too busy licking Aisling's boots to realize what we had.
Aisling doesn't wear boots.
I fucking hate when you do this shit, Agathon! Don't correct me!
With a start, you realize Juno is genuinely upset. It's hard to say how long ago they broke up, but the wounds are still there.
Agathon's disposition is really belied by his appearance.
Yeah.
He looks like a cannibal.
You're the kind of man who takes side with his boss over his girlfriend.
Juno's eyes glisten red with the blood of her tears. You look at Agathon with uncertainty.
It was for your own good.
Juno steps back, suddenly cold, ignoring the people dancing all around. She stares hard at Agathon.
The past is past. The traditions are dead to me. You won't stop me, Agathon, and I'll make sure that here and now you know I have the power.
No, Juno, please.
Agathon sounds panicked. He's not worried about his own survival, but the possibility that Juno is going to unleash a genuine masquerade breach.
Oof.
All right. I think it's time to deploy it now. We'll use the presence option.
Calling on the powers of your blood, you step closer to Juno, between her and Agathon.
Oh, all right. That's not the tack I expected to take, but okay. Agathon was being an asshole. Don't hurt yourself just to get back at him. He's not worth it.
Juno looks you in the eye, and you can see that she's tired and scared. Defecting from the Tremere is not easy or safe.
You're right.
She turns to go, and then stops and glances back at you.
You should pick better friends.
With that, Juno walks through the oblivious dancers towards the exit. Looking around, you realize that Agathon didn't stay to witness your exchange with Juno. Instead, he worked his way around the dancing crowd looking for the notes using his arcane methods. After Juno is gone, he returns, shaking his head.
I'm bored!
The notes we had were here, but not anymore. It's possible somebody grabbed them when they hunted here.
After making sure Juno is nowhere to be seen, you and Agathon push your way back outside. Outside, you walk to Agathon's car and drive back over the Brooklyn Bridge to Manhattan, heading for Agathon's haven.
Juno mentioned some very personal things. I trust your discretion in not discussing those things with Aisling.
Oh, I'm a tell.
Tell her all about your little pee-pee secrets.
Why is this happening?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm here for Agathon.
You're here to befriend Agathon, not Aisling.
So yeah. Yes. Your love life is your business.
Thank you.
After a while, you reach Agathon's haven and he parks the car. You walk to the occult bookstore and Agathon invites you inside. The smell of incense assaults you as before, making you grateful you don't have to breathe. You follow Agathon upstairs to find Aisling Sturbridge in an armchair reading an old book. She puts a bookmark in place as you come in. You were successful, I hope?
No, I'm sorry. The notes were there at some point, but not anymore.
That's a shame. I hope you don't run out of time. How did Sophie's little protege do? Agathon turns to look at you.
These fledglings come and go. Let's see after a few years.
Very
hey
true.
Man, at least I'm not a little pee-pee boy.
I'll have to ask Sophie why she took this one in. She must have a reason.
We met Juno. Fortunately, she couldn't find the notes either.
That's interesting. The High Regent turns to look at you. What was your impression of Juno, fledgling?
I'll immediately
Shit.
betray my promise.
Gonna snitch.
Yeah, nah. Theodora Vampire's no narc. Number 2.
That's why she'll never succeed in the vampire world.
She's very driven, motivated. I don't think she'll desist easily.
You're probably right. Juno could have made a great member of our house in different circumstances. Instead, she became a headache. You'll understand if you have children of your own some night, fledgling. Anyway, I have some things to discuss with Agathon. Run along now. You leave the occult bookstore, the cheesy mystical music still in your ears as you walk away. You wonder about what happened with Juno. Why is she so anxious to leave her clan? Can she really do that? Could you leave Sophie's service if you wanted to? Alright, who's next? Aaron.
Fuck, I'm muted!
Yeah.
We're gonna keep cycling through. Let's do D'Angelo.
Okay. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering.
There's been another one. At the scene now. Come to Bed-Stuy, corner of Pulaski and Garvey, ASAP.
Looks like D'Angelo could use your help. Learning how to write. Better get going.
Yeah.
As you approach the address, D'Angelo gave you a squad
Oh,
car.
Juno did kill someone at the club.
As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, a squad car passes you by, sirens blaring. Following it, you make a turn from DeKalb Avenue onto Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light and 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner. Next to an ambulance, the nearest corner next to an ambulance confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, if not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing by the entrance to the building looks straight at you. He does a double take and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself as you notice him making his way towards you.
Well, if this... I feel like the latter two are not good strategies when you're being flagged down by a cop, so we're just gonna let this play out.
Okay. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm even as he puts his hand on his holster. Shit, you can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly stops as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. Also, by Brooklyn, I meant fucking John F. Kennedy.
Yeah. Also, wait, am I crazy or isn't that the driver?
The Sophie's driver?
Yeah, it's like the same face.
He's got a mustache.
Is he Oh, am I misremembering? I thought that was... Okay, I thought that was the game being like, oh, he recognized you because he's undercover as a cop right now.
Hey, psst, it's
That
me.
feels right.
It's me, Gregory. I'm here keeping an eye on you, while also masquerading as a police officer on duty at an active crime scene. I'm good at this. Relieved but trying not to show, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alleyway, somebody grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadow. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does.
Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner.
Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering.
We can
Shit.
Jesus. Jesus Christ. I have low confidence in my ability to get us into an active crime scene with that many people. So we'll say number 3. Hey, how about you do your shadowy, skulky thing? Maybe you can find some way to let me in from the inside?
Shadowy, skulky thing. Jesus, kid. Childish phrasing aside, that's as good as approach as any, I guess.
Without another word, he gets out of the car and heads for a nearby back alley. You watch in silence as he disappears into the shadows. A minute passes, then another, and another. You begin to worry. What if there were more cops inside? What if your moldy partner had gotten himself in trouble? Suddenly...
I age like a fine cheddar.
Like fine milk.
Suddenly, a shadowy silhouette appears in one of the windows on the second floor. Looks like he made it in after all. At least you hope it's him. The shadow waves at you and points to the corner of the building opposite the 2 cops. You get out the car and quietly make your way towards the alley. Sure enough, you find the fire escape ladder has been conveniently dropped for you. Good work, D, you mumble to yourself as you climb to the second floor.
I didn't choose that dialogue option. Illegal.
Finding the crime scene is easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely trashed, knocked over furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional strain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his dialogue.
The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions kept piling on, and now they found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers.
Suddenly, he tenses up as if sensing your eyes upon him.
Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye?
Number 1. His gift, our fate.
Yeah, there's that. What do you think it means?
I don't think I would even know this if you hadn't mentioned it, but... Oh, actually, no, maybe this game did bring it up as well. Okay.
Sophie brought it up at one point during your baby vampire spiel.
Sure, number 1. His gift. Isn't there a theory that Cain was the first vampire?
Oh, it's more than a theory. To some, it's a deeply held belief. And yeah, you're right. It's about the gift of Cain, as in vampirism. Our fate. Clearly, someone wasn't too happy to receive it. God damn it, I hate where this is going.
Which is?
Me being right. About thin blood involvement, I mean. Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it. Gotta see the body.
Number 3. Why would we not look at the body if we're investigating the crime scene? In for a penny, in for a pound. Might as well be prudent.
My thoughts exactly. Duskborn have it bad as it is. If I'm gonna accuse one of them of breaching the Masquerade, I want solid evidence. And I mean rock fucking solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who could get us in an audience with our dearly departed.
To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone. Busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good moment browsing through all the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call.
Hey, you know who this is? Yeah. That favor you owe me? Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bedstuy.
Bedstuy?
I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you'd better.
With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark wry smile.
gives you his trademark rye bread, fresh out of the oven. Number 2. So, are we good?
Yeah, we're good. Next stop, Kings County.
Kings County, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in the sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for Kindred to show their face, incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions.
I feel like on that one they were reaching a little for the blood circulation metaphor.
Yeah. Especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence. For instance, death? Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the hectic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point of interest, the Kings County morgue. Having found yourself a convenient and suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over the undead gumshoe as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. It isn't, or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after about 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As a human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to look back and make sure no one's following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette. Without even looking in your direction, he takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, "Room 112. You got 20 minutes." D'Angelo speaks without looking at you.
That's our cue.
You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, this wing of the hospital seems unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors. Room 112. That's your stop. This room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in its center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out in its steel surface. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that to you. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face, his features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice 2 small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire attack, you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut in with a remark.
I was gonna joke, another body detective, just like the others, but they're pretty much letting me say that if I want. Yeah, number 1. Sucked dry, just like the last one.
Yeah, I'm guessing you noticed the teeth marks as well.
He points at 2 barely visible marks on the victim's neck.
Dead giveaway. Fuck.
As if on cue, the door swings open. A tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in. With eyes fixed on his clipboard, he doesn't appear to notice you yet. Get him!
Get his ass! Well, why don't we start by hiding? Maybe he's the murderer.
Quickly, quietly, you hop behind the oversized freezer, hoping D'Angelo will follow suit. Pressed against the wall, you tense up, hoping for the best, but expecting the worst. The room, however, remains silent. You peer out from behind the freezer to assess the situation. The doctor calmly looks over the victim, jots something down on his clipboard, and walks out. If you could breathe a sigh of relief, you would. So hard. D'Angelo materializes from the shadows, lingering against the wall across from you. He gives you a slight nod.
Nice save, kid. My first instinct was to jump him, but hey, whatever works. Now, come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit.
Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another visit from his old pal D'Angelo than to arouse the suspicion of his family and neighbors. Which is good, considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room.
Wait, hang on, D'Angelo. I want to see if that jogger comes through here every time at the same night.
You look
I'm
over.
just a little thirsty.
Yeah, you look over to D'Angelo, wondering how you're going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks to a nearby street lamp, leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like the time for subtlety is over. It only takes a couple of minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in front of D'Angelo. He's out in front and in D'Angelo's face. Listen to me, you moldy fuck. I've had just about enough of your shit. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there, motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustrations out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes his back against the lamppost. Are you finished? All right. Now you listen to me, and you listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I like to be jerked around? You think I got nothing better to do than to hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? Now, either you give me a leader I can follow, or I'll start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looks speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's either time to press the advantage or play good cop.
I think this guy seems like he is just so hapless, so we'll play good cop. Let's go with number 2. Take it easy, D'Angelo. Let's not make a scene.
Why not? I like making a scene. It's not like we're getting shit done. Might as well make a show of it. If you want my help, put me the fuck down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look back to your partner, meaning to ask what that whole things I'd rather forget deal was, as if sensing your curiosity. D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as gets. You'd think it abandoned if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if there was ever a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin blood alike, their minds lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans in and whispers in your ear. We'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo disappears into the shadows.
I really think that description was a little mean to drunks and crackheads.
Yeah.
I mean, theoretically, we think there's a murderer here, but mostly these people are victims of circumstance. Vampire the Masquerade, Social Politics 2020. Let's look around quietly to start with.
Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really knowing what you're looking for, you focus on the details, a knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so empty stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. A young, skinny woman hunched in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out.
Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. We just want to talk.
Mo?
Oh, okay. No, don't talk. Too loud, too loud.
She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender.
All right. You like quiet. Got it. Can you tell me your name?
Santa. That's what he called me.
Suddenly, you hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance. There's a woman standing there, and something about her just screams kindred. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. Also, get ready for the superpower hair.
Oh boy.
She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to get out of
I'm
the way.
hoping for Cruella de Vil.
Yeah.
It's more powerful than Cruella de Vil's hair. Acting out of bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something that she just scraped off of her shoe. You smile nervously, without even knowing it.
Oh, she's invisible. Let's see. You know what? I feel like being sassy right now. Let's go for number 2.
As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat.
Hey there, you can.
The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly, her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You.
Oh, God.
Oh, okay.
She's like Langley's dark counterpart.
Yeah.
You.
Hey, Val. That's my assistant you got there. You mind?
She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen as you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, no, you go.
Okay. Where is she?
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling.
Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself, the girl is to meet her final death.
Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something, too.
Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some clit measuring contest. You want this to get ugly, be my guest. Otherwise, I suggest you step aside and let me do my job.
By all means.
He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saw Santa, but find no trace of the girl.
Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here.
Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this.
Story of my life.
Without another word, she turns on her heel and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction.
Come on, kid. Let's get out of this shithole.
As you emerge from said shithole, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how shitty the last few hours have been. Almost.
Okay, kid, I know you got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count.
Well, considering she's murdered multiple people, I think I'm going to ask where she went. It's still hard to believe that girl is our killer. Do you know where she ran off to?
Not sure, but I might have some ideas.
Oh, good. I feel very good about this decision you've made.
The important thing is we know who we're looking for. Too bad Valerie knows it too. She's a scourge, kid. Part enforcer, part assassin, all-round pain in the ass. We'll be seeing more of her. You can bet on that.
So that's another thing that sucks about being a thin blood. Scourges exist, specifically for you.
What is their deal?
They just kill thin bloods.
Is it like an inherent... It's not an inherent crime to be one, though, is it? Because that guy's on the council.
It kind of is. It just depends on who you ask at what day.
Ah, okay.
And before you ask, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid. I don't know about you, but I'm turning in. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two.
So I understand why this girl is meant to be sympathetic, and I do have sympathy for her since she's clearly, like, mentally unwell, but, I'm not sure I agree with this call, based on what we've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. She is killing people. It's not great. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a rough night. And with that, we are going to wrap things up because our time is just about finished. So we did not get as far as I thought we got. I thought that there was actually a decent chance that we might finish tonight.
I didn't feel like we would because of how long I knew fucking Hope's
reading
thing was.
Yeah, that's true.
She
Hope's
has a
thing was pretty
weirdly long
Yeah, I felt doing her and Tamika back to back was hilarious. It was like,
Yeah.
here's an entire prolonged scene where I reveal this weird ass shit character concept, and then like, hey, how's it going?
Hey, how's it
I
going?
want to help you. Yeah, all right. Talk
Yeah,
about it
you were
later.
a dick to my friend. That's cool. Let's go hang out. And so yeah, well, thank you all for coming out and hanging out with us. This was a lot of fun, and I like watching chat slowly start like asking all of the questions that I know the answers to, and you just being like, yep. Yeah, we're gonna keep going through this. I was really excited to see how chat and you reacted to Hope, because I was like, yep, that's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah, that was bewildering.
Faux show. And so come out next week, and we will probably finish up this game. I'm pretty sure we'll hit the end in the next one. If not, we'll be pretty damn close. But yeah, so thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you again next week. Say goodbye to chat, everybody.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Toodles.